Well, I was just wondering if anybody was on here this time of morning. I thought the only way I can find out is come on and see. I just wanted to check it out. Just bitterly cold. Bitterly cold. I've had to get up and see about the animals, the cats, because I didn't. Uh, Hi, Palm Beach, Peter. Hi, Peter. I'm trying to figure out something. I didn't have my chats on last night, so now I've got them on. Yeah, it's so cold here, and I got up and I thought, well, I'll have a cup of hot chocolate, and that's what I'm gonna do. One of the cats is wanting back out. They're not gonna go out because it's so the snow is so deep. Uh, Lose the cat, I wouldn't be able to find him. So I'm just sitting there kind of wondering what's going on this morning. I wanted to see if anybody was up because I've never tried this. But Peter, I see you're in Florida, but you're not having all this crazy weather like we are. And I guess half the United States is. I don't know for sure, but it seems like you get bogged down in this stuff, and it doesn't. The roads don't get any better. Now it has stopped snowing, but then the roads don't get much any better, and uh, not many uh, people. I saw two cars or three cars out all day yesterday. So a foot of snow. It's I don't know how much snow, but or ice. It's like walking on concrete out there. So I don't know if it's ice or snow. It's both. I think it was a mix that we had. All North Texas, Southeast Oklahoma. I think it was a mix. And it just has turned to concrete. So I hope that everything can fall out, but I don't think it'll fall out for days because it's not supposed to get over. Well, the next two days, 17, I believe. So that's not going to fall anything out right now. And people need to go places. I've not heard an ambulance. I mean, we're in a small country area, but I've not heard an ambulance since Friday. So I don't know if people are not sick or what's going on. There's not too many up this morning. I just wanted to check it out to see if there was many people on this time of morning. And I see that there's not because I thought there's maybe a bunch of night owls like me. And I might start a when you get up kind of thing, touch base. And then I thought, well, no, I don't think anybody would be up this time of morning, but you never know because I can't sleep. I sleep 2 hours and that's about it. I don't know what's wrong with me. So I decided I'd get hot chocolate and might help me to go back to sleep. Sometimes I get up, cook. Like yesterday, I got up, cooked two quiches. So I've got breakfast already cooked. I didn't have to cook breakfast this morning. I thought, well, maybe if I just go uh, sit down and what I was doing is going through glasses. I've got so many glasses. I'm talking about prescription glasses, y'all. I've got over the years, my vision hadn't changed that much. And then I had that cataract surgery on both eyes. Well, my vision, they didn't, for some reason, they didn't give me what everybody else got, but I never get what anybody else gets. They took the cataracts off, but they wouldn't put the new lenses in my eye that corrected my vision. I said, well, why are you not going to correct my vision? I thought that's what besides being kind of cloudy, I said, I can see fine with the cataracts. I mean, maybe it's a little cloudy. I said, but why would you do this surgery on me? And then my vision is not any better. So, ball and eggs. I'm back. What I'm describing about the cataract surgery, Peter, I have so many glasses, good expensive glasses that are prescription. And I was going through a box of these glasses of expensive good glasses that are all prescription. I was going through the ones that, don't ask me why. I was just seeing, I've got them in different colors, different styles, different shapes, different sunglasses. All these sunglasses, like, you know. And some of them, now these here, these are Versace, and I've had them, I've got the same kind in two different colors. This is more of a red-brown pair. Now these don't have any lenses on because I never had them fixed. These I had fixed. So, you know, that's what you get for working. I've got oodles of round. I guess I got into this round stage many years ago. I was looking back and I thought, you know, I seem like I have worn round glasses a long time. You know, these shine the lights on me. So I've got my filming glasses that don't have any lenses in them. But I like, you know, why do you have so many glasses and all in the dark tone? And I thought, well, what are you going to do? I thought, well, I don't know. I guess I'll wear them. There's nobody else can wear them. They could get the frame to fit. But I don't know. So back to the cataract surgery. I asked that doctor, I said, why would you do surgery on my eyes if you're not going to put corrective lenses like everybody else has? He said, because you have scar tissue in your eye. And a lot of times, if you have scar tissue in your eye, vibrant colors and certain other pigmentations will look like distortions where you can't stand it. So I don't know if that is a bunch of crap or maybe that's true. I don't know. But so I've got both my eyes, both my cataracts taken off both my eyes, and they didn't correct my vision, so I still have to wear my glasses. And it's only clear. That's all I can tell you. It is only clear at night when I drive, and it's only clear. But the sun, I don't know if I want to give up the sun for the having to be out in the sun. I don't like that blindness. It makes me so blind. So I can't see very good this morning. Yes, Peter, mother and I are fine. Just snowed in. And you never did give me your address. Uh, you won that one of those gifts, and I've texted you, or I've commented and asked you to go to justmebillyjean@yahoo.com and send me your address so that I could mail you your Dolly Parton bowl. But for some reason, I don't know if you don't read the comments or maybe I'm not getting them through there. I put them on there. So, there's Debbie Tanner. Hi, Debbie. And there's PH. Any topic today? Well, I'm talking about my glasses, all more than this, all these prescription expensive glasses and my cataract surgery. I was sitting here going through the box this morning of my dresser drawers, and I thought, I've got too many glasses. But being in a business of fashion design, fashion illustration, interior design, interior decorating, personal assistant, all that stuff that I've done, I've just collected. Over the years, I've collected too many glasses of all kinds, shapes, colors. I've got green glasses. But most of them are brown, dark colored. I'm gonna break something here. Most of them are dark colored glasses. And I just wanted to see, because I get up there all hours of the night, and I just wanted to see if anybody else was up. That's what I wanted to do. Just see if anybody else was up. Let me see if I can put on. I've got these. Maybe I can see the comments of these. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm half blind this morning. She's in Debbie Tanner here in Loveland, Colorado. -1. Golly dog. I thought it's cold here. That's bikini weather. I'd have to get me a bikini and run out in that snow. No, I wouldn't. That is pretty cold, -1. I think we're at, let me look. I don't know what we are. Probably, let me see. We're at 9. So we're 8 away from you, I guess. We're at 9. I knew it's cold, but I didn't know how cold. Of course, Mama's asleep. And I come in here where I film, where I had my art studio, and it's the other part of the house, so it doesn't bother her. And the cats have been causing all kind of hell this morning. Look at these crazy glasses. Look at crazy looking glasses. Look how big those are. Gosh, I look like Elton John. I don't know whatever enticed me to buy those. Probably didn't. Probably somebody gave them to me. An optometrist or something. So that's what I was doing. Just talking, and I like these the best because I can see out of them pretty good. And I wear these this morning so that they don't glow, or whatever you call it. I'll lay these over here. No, everything's just cold and stopped here. I did not enjoy shoveling 6 inches of snow. Well, Lord help, I wouldn't either. Do you have to do that? I mean, is that part of for you to get in and out of your property, or I'm not going to shovel no snow. I'm not able. I used to be able. Uh, I don't know why I'm not picking up these new comments. Maybe my phone is. I hope the internet's not cutting out, y'all, because it would really be a shame if it was this time morning. No, I can see it. Oh, I can see it now. I didn't have it refreshed. So let me go through these. Peter says, good morning, and your mom okay now. He couldn't sleep either. Uh, Debbie says, good morning, Debbie. 1 - 1. Loveland, Colorado. I bet that's beautiful there, though. Colorado, I went up to Cripple Creek one time, and there was another place that when my friend had a coat factory show at the place in Colorado where all the well-to-do ranchers and everything go. That might have been Cripple Creek. We had a fashion show there. She made these exotic, beautiful coats out of old-timey sleigh blankets. And so we did a fashion show. That's the only time I've ever been. Yes, Peter, I tried to get in touch with you. Maybe the 6 inches of snow. That's no fun. That's just no fun. If you have to show that much snow, but you know the snow here, y'all, is like concrete's what I was telling earlier. It's like sleet and snow, so it is like, I mean, I guess you'd have not a sledgehammer. I mean, I guess you could get a shovel and dig into it, but it's so hard when I walk on it. It's just like if it's concrete, and it's about that deep. So when I come out of my carport, I have to step up that much to get up onto the, because my car park, it's really not a carport, it's a car park because it's insulated, and that's where my art canvases went or there. So it's four sides of 4 cars can get under that. So it's part of the house. So I guess it'd be a carport because it's only two-sided and one-sided out. So, but it's got white post. So maybe it is a carport. I'm not sure what. I've always called it a car park because I thought it's more of a house than it is a carport. Here comes the baby. Here comes my baby kitty. Yeah, that's a baby kitty. He's a fighting Jack this morning, aren't you? Look up here. Look up here. Look up there on the camera. You see the camera? That's my one-eyed possum kitty cat. And he can't be very far from me because look at his tail. He can't be very far from me because he gets nervous and gets mad. Lay down there. I'm gonna tell him to lay down. I don't usually let him, or he don't want to stay up here, but today he does. So if this tail gets in my face, I'll start not sneezing. I'll just look at the camera and be good, okay? Just sit there and be my co-host. My co-host, the possum-eyed kitty. They have been taken care of this week here. I've got another one over here in the chair that's mother's kitty. She's white with black and orange. And then I've got my baby, which is mostly Maine Coon, and mother's is partial Persian. And then we've got her brother and sister, which is black and white, and the other one looks very similar to her. I've had those since they were little babies, and they're about 15 years old, probably. Baby's only about 2 years old. So that's what we have for our cats. Debbie says she's on a corner lot. She'll be 74 next month. You need to be, I mean, it's good workout, but you don't need to overdo it. Not at 74. You know, I mean, went to school. She went to school in Cripple Creek. I went with Ronnie Claire, which was my friend. And she made those coats. Y'all, those were the most beautiful coats I've ever seen in my life. She took those sleigh blankets. I've got a couple of sleigh blankets, but they're the blankets that they put in the sleigh. I mean, but I'm talking about when it's a horse-drawn sleigh for this ice out here and snow. And they would cover themselves with these blankets, and they were just intricately designed. They were beautiful. Some had horses' heads on them. Some had running horses on them. Some had big jingle bell looking things on them. They're absolute. They were put out by Strick. They're a German company that made certain kinds of sleigh blankets. Like Chase and Strick, might have been Chase sleigh blankets. You could look them up on eBay. So she would take those and design them into beautiful coats that were sold at Neiman Marcus. They were sold, and maybe the treatment around the neck might be coke feathers, like Marlene Dietrich wore. And she'd sew all that. They'd hand sew all that, put jewels, and not real jewels, but embellishments. These coats were, and the lining of the coats was pure silk, and they were in bright, bright colors that accentuated the sleigh blanket motif. They're beautiful. I've got pictures of them. I can't get to it right now. But they were high dollar, 5,000, 2,000, you know, high dollar. And people bought them, especially ranchers' wives that had money. And cowboy, I don't know if any country singers, they might have. I can't tell you the truth about that. But they were beautiful. And so Cripple Creek, when we went up there, they had it some kind of coliseum or something like that. And it was a lot of pretty well-known people that came to the show. They sent out invitations and so forth. So. But this morning, oh, there goes baby. He decided he'd had enough. He had enough. He wanted to get out of it. He likes going over there. Debbie, you know the coats that I'm talking about? She said, those coats are so beautiful. I just wondered, did you know that of the coats that I'm talking about? Ones that Ronnie Claire Edwards that played on the Waltons TV show she made, they were beautiful. They were beautiful and very expensive. But she knew that. We used to have a lot of fun times. She and I, let me see if I got pictures. If I can get it. Hold on. I've got a lot of pictures. That's another thing. Let me scoot this chair. That's a lot. That was so long ago. There's my friend. She played, there's one of the cats going crazy. She played Cora Beth on the Waltons. And I helped her any time I could do certain things. We would get in the car and we'd go down into Texas to the flea markets or anything like that. And we'd stop at stores, those little antique stores. But I helped design that church that she interior designed the church she bought in Dallas. And it turned out very well, I think. I mean, I really do think it turned out well. Y'all can look it up online. You can look up Ronnie Clyde Edwards church in Dallas. And one of the cats is going crazy. They don't like me to. Well, one of the other cats has got his chair. So when one's got in the chair and he wants to go outside, but I can't let him out right now because I can't watch to see where he's going to go. And I can't let him just stay outside and not know if they're in or out, because I think about something happened to these cats, I'd be chalked up for sure. Let me see. Oh, did he say no? I don't know. Yes, Peter, I was a great friend to her, and she was a great friend to me. And it's so sad she got, I guess all those years of being around that cosmetics and powder and dust in the studios and things, the mobile studios and mining towns. She worked in mining towns and everything. She got like COPD, and she just couldn't breathe. Plus, around other people's cigarettes all those years out in Hollywood. So she just had terrible lungs. So then in 2016, I think that she went to sleep, didn't wake up. She'd been sick, but it's a tragedy that they couldn't do something. And she'd just gotten out of rehab the week before because she'd been in a while. So, but you don't realize it's detrimental like that when it's happening. And all of a sudden, when somebody's gone, you say, well, I didn't know she was that sick, or I didn't know he was that sick. Well, no, you just didn't know it's time for the Lord to come down and swoop them up, because they need them worse than they need them here on earth. So that's one way I look at it. It's meant to be. We're going to go when we go. I don't want to go before my time. My friend always says, he said, I don't really like death. It's so final. And yeah, it is final. If you're a believer and a Christian, there's a better place where we hope that there's a better place we go. And we believe that is what we've been taught, especially in the South. We were taught as children that Jesus would come, but we would go before, and then Jesus would come, and then everybody would be reborn, so forth and so on. But to each his own. I believe there's higher powers. I believe that sometimes we can change our own destiny. It just depends on using our brain. And a lot of people don't use their brain, and then they get in bad trouble. And I think that's where that third eye comes in, or that knowledge comes into where you get these eerie feelings, or feelings that just something is not right. Well, that's the inner self trying to tell you, don't do that, because it could end in detriment. And if you don't listen to that inner self, usually you'll get your butt in trouble. So that's one thing I always try to do, is to I listen to my inner being, always have. Uh, but now there's times in my life, see, that's where I have to revert back to say, no, I didn't listen to it because if I had have, that wouldn't have happened to me. You know, this cat is about to work my last mini pearl nerve. And he was a sick kitty. He's of the three. But for some reason, y'all, he got into some poison, rat poison or something like that. And it just made him go blind and wonder he lived. You know, wonder he lived because he got in that poison some way. Now he's getting up there with his brother. So maybe he'll still have. He was looking for, I'll tell you what happened. His sister got in his chair over here. And when he went to get in his chair, well, there she was. Well, she's mean. She's a mean little, you know what. And she'll slap him, even though it's her real brother. I guess we all do that. Get kind of bad about sibling. But he don't want to mess with her. He knows not to mess with her. So she got over here and is all posed in this chair. And he finally got in the chair over there with his other brother, uh, Snowflake. And now he's calmed down, sit down. Now they're entwined, wrapped up, entwined. And she's over here just sitting there prim and proper with her head up. So, you know, I don't know. I just think about, I sit here early in the morning like this. If I get up and I can't go back to sleep, usually I'm in there cooking breakfast early or doing something. Or doing something in here. And, you know, you can just cut off if you don't want to watch or whatever. It's just a therapy for me. And I'm going to start doing it. If, you know, just like I said last night, I for so long, I didn't come on because I might have not have had my shirt on, the shirt. I might have had this robe on or a robe or something. I didn't want to come on. And then I got to thinking, you know, I'm talking to just everyday people and everybody wears robes. Everybody don't wear their teeth all the time. Everybody don't comb their hair. Uh, and if we're all friends, if y'all were here and we came in here to have a cup of hot chocolate, this is the way I'd be. I'm just so down to earth, y'all. I don't put on airs. I'm me, you know. So I thought, well, that's why I'm gonna start doing it when I want to, because it'll help me make a little more money, and from the ads and stuff. Plus, it's visiting with my friends, you know, and maybe one of y'all is not having such a good morning, and maybe I'll say something that'll inspire you, or I'll read a comment that'll inspire me, or you know, I'd always thought years ago, before there was anything like YouTube, we had there's a few social media accounts that were kind of similar to this, not exactly, but you could call in and talk to people and so forth. Remember Dr. Roost? He was that sex therapist. I always thought, I can't believe she'd get on there and talk about stuff like that, you know, just in my own brain. But maybe she, you know, she only died about probably last year or year before that. She's about 100. She'd go in and talk about her relationships, or people would call in and say this or that. And I thought for years, not about the sex part. I just thought, you know, I'd like to have a talk show like that. Well, lo and behold, here I am 20 years, 20, 30 years later, 20 years later, and I kind of do that. I sit here and read y'all's comments, and it's kind of fun, you know. I can't read that one. Debbie said you were so fortunate to have known her. Yes, I was. Ronnie Claire was something else. You know, her and Dodie Goodman and Here's one of Shelley Winters. She was a hoot too. Now she, she kind of lived a sad life, but a lot of them do. Once they, and I didn't know, Ain't be on, the Andy Griffith show. I didn't realize that she had, after she left the show, it was syndicated and all that, but after she left the show, she moved to, I'm not sure if it's Rhode Island, I'm not sure where. But, she was not taken, she just kind of reverted from being around the other cast members from Mayberry, from the Andy Griffith show. So Debbie says, Peter says, we appreciate you. And Debbie says, that's right. What difference does it make when you're around friends? We don't pay attention to how you look. It's just good to see you and know how you're doing. Thank you. Debbie, that's the way I've become with all y'all. Peter says, many times you bring me friendship calm. Well, I hope so. I hope that I can, bring peace. It's kind of, sometimes we get so overwhelmed, y'all, with everyday life. And I hate to say it, but I get so upset over family, Mother will be 94 in April. And my two sisters, I know they have their hands full, but they don't try to help. Just like me rolling mama's hair, I had to learn to do that. I didn't know how to roll nobody's hair. And I'm not very good at it now. At least it gets a curl in it. But both my sisters, one of them is a licensed hair designer and beauty operator, and the other one, she can do it. But they just, if things were different, I'd come do it. Well, my God, what would my mother, this is what pisses me off is you think, what if mother said to them when they needed her or when they was little and they pooped in their pants, well, if I could change your diaper, I would, but I just don't have time right now. I've got other things I've got to do. So that's why I get kind of mad sometimes, because I think, my mother deserves everything. And that's why I'm going to do it 3 times as hard to get her what she needs. Because I'm trying to pull up that slack from her not having her other children. When they come to town, they might come see her once every 2 months, maybe. One of my sisters lives down the road. And we talked to her on the phone. She has been good about taking me to the doctor. And I appreciate that. But mother, they should realize mother being her age, you don't know when Jesus is coming. And when I worked in the funeral industry as a young boy and then on some later, you see a lot of things in that. I did cosmetics and I helped with the funeral. Y'all have heard me talk about it before. But when you get there and you're doing family night, you hear a lot of things of regrets after someone's gone on, and the kids, oh, if I'd only known, oh, if I'd only done this, or oh, this, or oh, that, mother this, papa that. You never know, y'all, when you're gonna die. We don't know that. So I want my loved ones and my friends right around me. If they need me, I'll help. You know, I've been around some people that I adored, and I moved off, and I didn't keep touching, and I'd hear about them passing away. And I think, I should have kept in touch because their family didn't care, and they just kind of. But that's one thing. My mother can't go and say she didn't. She's not. She's not been loved by me. And my nephew that was killed, that was like my own son. Him and his girlfriend got outside of in the country and hit a pecan tree, drinking one night. He wasn't bad to drink. Killed both of them. He is 19 and she's 20 years old. So it killed both those kids. He was going to the college, and he loved his grandmother, my mother. And, you think, well, I don't have any children. No, I never had time to try to. I didn't want children because I wanted to be a good parent and I was too busy. I was too busy to be a good parent. And I knew it. And I decided, a long time ago that that's for other people. I'm too busy. But then when my mother needed me, and I found out she might have to go into a care facility, I said, no, I'll be back. I'll move back. And I gave it all up. Money, retirement, everything, I gave it up. So my mother would be taken care of. And she is taken care of. I do the best that I can, but it's probably, if it was put on a scale of 1 bad, 10 good, I'm probably about an 8 or 9 of taking care of her. I don't let her do nothing. I don't let her cook nothing. I don't let her want for anything. She's an easy person, most copacetic person I'll ever meet. So was my grandmother. Her mother was sweetest, God-fearing woman you'd ever want to meet. Never heard her say a bad thing about nobody. And that's the way they raised me. You just try to help when you can, like the people under the bridge, or like the animals, or like here on YouTube. I have a gift of gab, yeah, and there's no sense in not using it. I do get a little hoarse sometimes, but other than that, no sweat off my back. Let me read some. Peter says, many times your videos bring Prince okay and calm. Thank you. Families sometimes forget we need to break out just some company. And then he said, Amen. My mom thanks you each and every day. And I tell her she's carried me from diapers to degrees, and I love being with my mom. Well, Peter, you're very similar to me. And I imagine a lot of you on here, if it don't, you need to get your butt shook up and go see your mama or your daddy. I hope that wakes some of you up because they're not always going to be here. So you need to pick up that phone if you're mad at your mama or your daddy or your sibling, or you pick up that phone during this snowstorm and call and say, I was just checking on you. I would like to know how you're doing. I'm sorry. Or are you sorry? Don't. I've always heard you don't go to bed mad at each other if you're married, because the next morning it gets worse. So I just don't get too mad at all at people. I get aggravated, but that's different than being mad in the South. Now, when you're mad, you're fighting mad. And when you're just kind of upset, you'll kind of talk and still converse with them. But when you're mad, you don't say a damn word. You just leave me alone. I'm too mad. So that's the way I feel about life sometimes, but not anymore. After I've gotten so sick and so well, and B12 has helped me, I just thank God every day that I'm still here. Because I told God the day that I bled out from the Verities, I told God, I said, well, really not during that, because I wasn't afraid, y'all. If I'd have died, I was not afraid. I didn't get scared, nothing in the ambulance or none of that. The weeks in the hospital, I wasn't scared. It was like God put a peace over me. And somebody said, but weren't you scared? No, I didn't have, I didn't even, I didn't even envision being scared. It was just, to get through this x-ray and get through this, taking this medicine and all that. And so then by the time I was ready to come home, uh, I was very peaceful with everything. But then during that time, I said, God, don't take me, because mother needs me. And there's nobody that will take care of her like I take care of her. So please, let me last, because I just can't put the burden on her. Because if I go, she'll go too, you know. And it might not be go to heaven, it might be go to a care facility, somewhere that I've kept her out of. So the Lord blessed me and answered my prayer, and He's kept everything pretty good the way it is. But I know there's been about 10 people on here, so that's not too bad. And I've been on here 40 something minutes. Part of it, though, I'm going to have to edit out. That first part was waiting too long, I think. But I don't know. We'll see. I just hope y'all have not a bad snowy day. If you do, y'all, if y'all have to get out and you can, we're not going to get out because we're snowed in. I'll be back this soon, and I've got to get in there. And now that it's what time is it? I can't see. 5:30, 6:30, 5:30, something like that. I can't see the Alexa thing. But I've got to get in there, and I'm going to heat me a piece of that quiche up. I cut that in pie shapes, and then I put it in Ziploc wet bags. And so I just make a cup of coffee or make a glass of milk and heat a piece of that quiche up, and that's what I have for breakfast. Mother will probably want cereal this morning with blueberries and coffee. So I wish y'all was here and you could have some quiche or coffee and blueberries and cereal with us. God bless you. God bless us. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.